Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the Vanguard class in Space Marine 2. In this video we will be covering over its strengths and weaknesses. On a side note, I'd like to give a shout out to my salamander brother from another father, Odysseus, for the big help on providing me crucial info for today's video. Big thanks to you, brother. Now, let's get right into it. The Vanguard is a scalpel in the field, being able to single out any tough target on his own with ease. Using your grapple launcher to zip through a horde and prevent an enemy from calling backup, getting locked into a duel with a lictor, or fending off against 4 Tyranid warriors on your own until help arrives. You are the DPS version of your bulwark brother in the front lines, and the brother in arms to your assault. There is no enemy you cannot reach and kill. Be wary though, as your armor is on the lower side, and if you get caught out with no help, you might become a burden for your team, as it can be difficult to keep up with a Vanguard. That being said, be very careful on overextending from your team, and try to watch out for snipers disrupting your flow of combat. Without a grapple charge, the Vanguard is susceptible to being swarmed and taken out due to his lack of protection. Always stay on your toes. Now, for perks, we are going to focus on survivability. On Ruthless difficulty, enemies can melt you down fast, and luckily for us, the Vanguard has some pretty great perks to keep him in a healthy state for the fight. Your damage is all in your weapons, what grade you have them, and what perks you have selected, but more on that in the video to come. For the first perk, Moving Target, each melee attack you land reduces the ranged damage you take by 1% up to 15%. If you do not land a melee attack for 3 seconds, the effect ends. On Ruthless difficulty, you're going to struggle against range mobs trying to melt you down. Grappling to an enemy and building up stacks of moving target can buy you time before those enemies can get through all your health. Pair it up with some other class perks and you're looking up to 40 to 50% damage reduction from ranged attacks. And this perk will be a saving grace for you as difficulty spikes up. For the next perk, Duelist, parry window increases by 50%. This is a no-brainer to use even for pro melee users. Increasing the window of your parry can make the difference of parrying a combo of attacks from a Thousand Suns Terminator or a Bone Sword Warrior. It is also fairly useful when you're trying to block multiple attacks from multiple enemies at once. For the third perk, we have Honed Reactions. When your health is less than 50%, your perfect dodge window is doubled. Pairing really well with Duelist, this perk turns you into a John Wick with a knife and makes it nigh impossible for melee attacks to land on you. Also makes it substantially easier to dodge unblockable attacks. Next up, we have Inner Fire. All squad members can restore ability charge by 15% by performing finishers. This is a top tier support perk for your team. Your sniper gets to cloak more, assault is riding a roller coaster of death, heavy is an unstoppable wall, and bulwark is more patriotic than your average American. And your tactical forgot to turn off his Auspex scan. This perk alone can make Ruthless missions trivial and the right team with how often each member of your team will get their abilities. And assuming you're on Ruthless with everybody having a full perk loadout, their abilities will change the tides of any battle at any given circumstance. For the next 3 perks, we are going to summarize their use together as a combo. Restless Fortitude, after a diving kick, you take 10% less range damage for 10 seconds. Tip of the spear. Enemies hit by diving kick take 15% more ranged damage for 10 seconds. And combat readiness. Grapple launcher recharges 20% faster. Building these 3 perks provide you a healthy mix of extra damage and damage mitigation from ranged attacks while being able to frequently make use of your grapple launcher. In an ideal scenario, you'll want to grapple to a Majora's enemy to proc Restless and Spear perks. In that 10 seconds, you dish out your Melta with the damage buff and finish off the enemy with an Execute. Combat readiness will synergize with Inner Fire, giving you a grapple charge relatively quick. This adds a substantial amount of survivability throughout your playthrough. And all together, I probably wouldn't run any other combination of perks unless you're going for a very niche playstyle on the Vanguard. And to top it off with the perks, we are going to go with Emperor's Blessing. Taking lethal damage restores all armor instead of incapacitating you. The cooldown is 3 minutes. A pretty good ace up your sleeve when your back is up against the wall. You'll find this perk to be a lifesaver in a lot of situations, especially if you're a Gene Seed carrier. These perks synergize beautifully, making the Vanguard a relentless force in combat. You'll be darting around the battlefield, dishing out damage, and keeping your health topped up while staying agile and responsive. For weapons, I recommend going with the Melta Rifle and Knife. You can switch to the Chainsword for more CC and damage if you feel it's needed, but the Melta Rifle remains dominant as far as primary weapons go, in the sense that it caters to the Vanguard's close quarters playstyle. This video has been recorded post Melta glitch patch, and I still stand by the sentiment that it is strong and complements the CQC playstyle. And that just about covers it for the Vanguard. All in all, he's a pretty fun class to try out, especially for first-timers. If you are a melee-centric player and love to get into the thick of it with your enemies, this class can provide a lot of fun for you if Bulwark proved to be a little bit too slow for your liking. For next week's video, we'll be covering the Heavy, and after that we will be moving on to the Sniper, finishing off this series with the Assault class. For those of you who came and watched up to this point, thank you for watching, and hope to see you in next video. Peace.